Morena, by early in season two, the Brody mystery was out and the storyline was accelerated, and we all knew what was going on. It was dialed up to 11 for the rest of the season. That was very brave of the producers. But what did you think of that?
It was terrifying for my job, for my life. It was really exciting. Every script we got, I think we felt like everybody else did, where we didn't know what was happening next. And it's the kind of show that you feel like you've almost got it figured out, and then they just throw you for a loop. So it's like that for us too on it, actually. And as you saw by the end of the second season, nobody's safe.
No, not at all. Poor Jessica, she's gone through such an ordeal over
Yeah,
season two. We
yeah.
conclude the season literally with a bang. Where does that leave the Brody family? What can you tell us?
Haha, the million-dollar question. Um, the Brody family is in disarray, as one can imagine. I think I just saw it said recently that Jessica's been through everything except cancer, basically, at this point. And that's what it feels like playing her. And so she's, where it opens in season three, something major has happened with Dana. I won't tell you what, but it's been really, the family has suffered a lot and been through a lot. And they've been in the press, of course, and blamed for a lot of things that Brody did. And um, Jessica's just trying to maintain and just stay alive and take care of her kids, and it's been really, really challenging.
Wow, that's very exciting. I noticed on your Twitter feed the other day that you're on the set with Jackson, I think it was. So
Yeah.
that kind of takes some mystery out of whether. Some people are wondering whether you're even coming back. Can you tell us whether you're coming back as a series regular, a guest, or are you still in the supporting cast? Like, what's the deal there?
I am still in the supporting cast. I am back. We all are. Well, except for the ones that obviously went bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very different season. You know, obviously a lot of changes need to be made, and so the story is gonna. I think it's gonna sort of follow wherever it goes. You know, the course of the story. You know, where Brody is, which nobody knows right now, and just sort of then we'll delve into that aspect of it. And I think it's going to be a sort of meandering season.
Okay. It's very exciting. We're all on the edge of our seat waiting for that. Let's go back to season two and revisit some of the highlights from that. Do you have a particular highlight episode if you were to be obviously nominated at the Emmys next month, which a lot of people are suggesting you may be? You
Which
have
is
to
so
pick.
flattering.
It is very flattering, I'm sure it is. I think you're actually currently in sixth place on Gold Derby's charts. We do all the charts with all the
Well,
predictions. So that's pretty cool.
I'll take that.
I'll take that. I think you're along with with Archie Panjabi from The Good Wife. We'll talk about The Good Wife in a minute. So highlight episode. You've got to pick your favorite episode, I guess. Have you got anything in mind yet?
For from last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's so much good stuff, and I feel like every time I think like, oh well, that episode was one of my favorites. No, no, no. I changed my mind. For my character, I felt like the first three episodes were kind of a great uh, change for this. To see her stronger and fighting for this relationship, and then having to step up to the plate when Brody completely disappears. And then also at the very end of the season when she just finally has had enough. I think that scene in the car with the two of them where they break up is really realistic. And it was a scene that we took great care to not make into a cliche and not say the cliche things, and to just be real and be what, there's so much unsaid between these two people that it gets to a point where it almost doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The choice is a really good one. It's a good choice for you. But personally, if I had to choose, if I was in your shoes, I thought State of Independence was so great for
Mm,
Jess. The speech that you
yeah.
give at the function, it really shows a different side of her. And tell us about when you get a script like that and you see that the writers are really throwing stuff at you that you get to stretch yourself a bit. What's that feel like?
It's phenomenal. I was going to curse, but I held back.
It's okay.
It's really phenomenal. It's a joy as an actor to be challenged. At first you're scared and you're terrified that you're not going to be able to do it. Every time I get a script, I think I can't do this scene. There's no way that I'm going to be able to rise to this occasion. And somehow you do, and it feels so good to be scared of material in a sense, to make yourself work that hard. And when I saw that speech, I just thought it's so beautifully written, and it's so just plausible and real what she's going through when everybody else has been through, and how she's being so selfless in that moment. And I just really wanted it to be simple, and just be about the people in that room and her life without them even knowing that's what it was about.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked at length in the past about your on-screen chemistry with, the husband and wife dynamic with Brody. But I think the highlight for season 2 was the chemistry with the kids, with your TV kids, played by Morgan Saylor and Jackson Pace. Tell us about working with them too.
It's really fun, actually. In the beginning, I did a lot of bonding with them and would hang out with them one-on-one just so we would solidify our relationship, the three of us. And I feel like it really worked. We actually became good friends. And even on the weekends and stuff, Morgan and I will go see a movie or, go do something. And I imagine I would do the same with Jackson, but he lives a little further away. But it's nice. And there's something that happens with us where they say mom on set and they're talking to their real parents and I turn around. It's the strangest thing. And I think that that's because we've been through so much on the show together and know each other so well. I think in one of the episodes last season, might have been the second or third episode, we were rehearsing and Morgan garbled a line and I just said, speak up. And it ended up becoming a line in the episode because the director was like, that's so perfectly what you guys would be saying to each other, So our relationship has definitely reflected the show.
Yeah, I like that. The other great relationship on the show for you and your character is obviously Mike. Poor old Mike, played by Diego. God love him. We shouldn't really want to root for those two because obviously, Jess is married and whatever. But when they're together, the show I think it goes to another level. I really do. What do you think about working with Diego?
I love it. He's a blast and he's a sweet guy and you just know that that's who she should be with.
Yeah.
And yet something makes you root for Brody. Something makes you go, I just want these two to work it out. They have a family and they've had a history and he's damaged and, But I agree. I mean, I think that the relationship between Mike and Jess is really simple and loving. And in a sense, it's almost too simple. And because there's so many complications in her life, it's just bad timing, and I always feel so bad for that character.
So do I. Poor Mike.
Yeah.
The difference from now to last year is obviously the impact that the show has made worldwide. Literally, it airs all over the place. Everybody knows what the show is, and everyone's obsessed with it, and it's dying to know what's happening. What reactions have you been getting on your day-to-day travels or whilst promoting the show?
The majority of the time, it's, wait, no, you're not. Are you on? And I'm like, yes, it's me. And they're like, oh my God, you have to tell me. No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. So everybody's dying to know what's going on. But at the same time, they don't want any spoilers because they want to enjoy the season. And it's amazing. It's incredibly flattering just to feel like, I never think anybody's going to recognize me or they're going to think of the show it's just so out of context to your, life at home watching TV. And when they do, it's always so incredible that they've put it together and how much they love the show. It's just across the board, so many people's favorite shows and that baffles me. That doesn't baffle, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'm just humbled by it.
It's kind of unreal. Does it tickle you that people still want to talk to you about Firefly and that lizard? They're like, oh, that's the lady from the lizard show. Really tickles me.
That I really can't believe. That is, 12 years ago, a show that was a failed TV show by, many standards. And then the film, of course, was awesome. But I can't, and a lot of people will say to me, love Homeland, it's a great show, but Firefly, I really loved Firefly. Why isn't it on the air? Can you try to get it back on the air? Mm-hmm. So if they did get a Kickstarter campaign going, would you do it again? It's like, it's a conversation starter. It's so funny.
That is very funny. Now, Homeland has cleaned up at awards shows over the last 12 months. The Golden Globes, it kind of smashed everybody else. You got a SAG Ensemble nomination. But the Emmys is the big story. Going into the Emmys, given that this is what we cover, we say it's our bread and butter, going into the Emmys, it wasn't really the favourite. But as the show progressed, it just kept winning and winning and winning. And then it got all those acting trophies, and then it won Best Drama Series. Take us through that night, because that must have been so exciting.
Yeah, that was crazy. And we all went into it thinking, okay, this is the Emmys. This is totally different. There's no way. We're just going along for the ride, and maybe next year we will have earned it or
Hmm.
whatever. And the minute I get goosebumps when I think
Oh
about it,
yeah.
the minute Damien's name was announced, um, we all looked at each other and it was just like it was over. We were
Yeah.
like, okay, if he won because he was the underdog.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston, come on,
I know.
and John Hamm and all those people who were nominated. So um, it was the minute he won, we thought, okay, maybe we have a shot at winning Best Show. And when that happened, we were on cloud nine. I mean, like everybody had these. My face hurt the next day because of this like smile that I'd had on for the last 12 hours. We could not believe it, and people would congratulate us backstage, and we would just be like, "Can you believe it?" It was such a um, gift and such an amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah, totally. Personally, for me, when that happened, especially the acting trophies, I was amazed because Bryan Cranston, as you say, that he was a favorite. Chris and I actually picked that was going to happen, and we were so thrilled that it did happen. And when it did, it was like, okay, I think Homeland might actually win this thing, and then for that to happen for Showtime, it was a pretty special night. So I'm glad that you enjoyed
Yeah,
it. So coming up
yeah,
to these Emmys, it looks like Homeland is, now the favorite. Everyone thinks it might repeat. Mandy Patinkin might get that nomination he should have got
yeah,
last year.
yeah.
You as well in the supporting actress category. Is that an exciting prospect?
It's extremely exciting. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm one of those people who's like, awards, it just doesn't matter. It matters to me.
Good. I'm glad. I'm so
I,
glad to hear that.
really, I mean, and it's not a competitive thing. It's not
No.
like I should get it over so and so. It's that it really means a lot to me to receive an accolade by people that I admire and who are watching me, and it feels good to be recognized after so many years
Yeah.
doing what you love. There's no better feeling.
Well, yeah, exactly. You've worked your ass off, and it's nice to get a bit of recognition in any profession. So as I
Absolutely.
mentioned, you're currently sixth on our charts. You're alongside Archie Punjabi, a previous winner. Speaking of her, you also guested on The Good Wife. Great role for you, playing the kind of
Yeah,
really bad, naughty wife
yeah.
on The Good Wife. Such a great cast of actors on that show over in New York. Tell us about getting involved in that show.
It was really fun. I was really happy when they decided to bring that character back because we sort of barely scratched the surface with her in the first episode I did
Yeah.
with them. And getting to be Dylan Baker's wife is always a pleasure. He is such a sweet, great actor and such a weirdo, that character. It's so fun. And they have such a bizarre relationship, those two. And it was fun to explore that. They kind of have this love hate, this competitive, this kind of like, you know, no holds bar, but they
Yeah.
truly deeply love each other relationship. And
Mm.
it was, anything goes. And I loved that about that. And when I read the famous line that I had to deliver on that, I laughed so hard. And I was like, absolutely, I will do this character anytime, any day. That is the greatest line anybody's ever written me. That's like a
Yeah.
single word.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you return on the show. Absolutely do. But look, good luck for season three.
Thank
I know
you.
you're shooting it now, and we
Thank
really
you.
have our fingers crossed for you for the Emmy nominations next month.
Thank you.
And of course, obviously, congratulations. We know you're expecting. That's wonderful news. So you've got a lot going on. That's pretty cool.
I do quite a bit. I'm hoping that if I am nominated, that I don't, my water doesn't break at the
Yeah,
Emmys.
it'll be like Claire last year. So maybe there's like a theme for every of the
I
female.
know, right?
Yeah.
There must be something in the water in Charlotte or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
something's going on down there. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time, Marina. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. It was fun.